Welcome back, everyone, to the Hearthstone Grandmasters for the Americas, the final match for day number 2, week 2. It's been kind of a faster day for us, largely because we've seen some 3-0s and seen some pretty one-sided matchups. Two of these players that are featured right now, Monsanto and Briarthorn, both of them kind of having the T-Mobile deck spotlight for today, which is the aggressive rogue deck list, really come up big for them in clutch times. Monsanto, of course, being able to get a big win with his rogue in a dire situation against Language Hacker and the Warrior, but also Briarthorn getting that 3-0 with the Aggro Rogue. So one of these lineups, TJ, featuring Aggro Rogue is going to go through today.
Yes, it will. Which is kind of cool to see. The deck's been impressing me, actually. Just feels like it constantly has enough damage to get the job done. Like, just from like every situation you could possibly imagine. Oh, opponent's at 19 with 1 minion on board, lethal. Oh, your opponent's at 8 with huge taunts in the way, lethal. Oh, your opponent played 20 worth of stats last turn, who cares, lethal. That's just what the deck feels like. And
please continue, TJ. More analogies. More examples.
I mean, I feel like we've seen the deck win 6 times today. So there's been a lot of times where it's just found lethal in just about every situation that it needs to. Both players have like different takes on the deck, whereas Briarthorn has gone with Akama and Jandis along with the Voracious Reader. Whereas Monsanto went with the Lillian and Burrowing Scorpids. So a little bit of differences, but overall it operates the same way. You play early stealth minions, you hit them really hard with those stealth minions, and then you draw burn damage with the help of Secret Passage to close out the game.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. And, like the Aggro Rogue is pretty straightforward as well. In terms of just like what it wants to do, but I do feel like the early game building blocks, as we've kind of been seeing, has been varying with these different deck lists that are slightly tweaked compared to each other. Monsanto's going to start with the Priest, though, maybe as a direct response to the Rogue starts that he knows his opponent likes to do. So maybe that ends up being a benefit for Monsanto to kind of see that Briarthorn has been kind of queuing that Rogue and gain that first game edge. If he can call a Priest a favorite against Rogue. I mean, with Cobalt Sticky Finger.
Yeah, but Briarthorn's...
He's definitely better equipped than the average Priest deck.
Yeah, but Briarthorn's deck doesn't run weapons. It runs Deadly Poison.
True.
But as far as just straight up weapons, like the Self-Sharpening Sword and Hooked Scimitar, which are, the common inclusions, doesn't have those. So... won't be able to get as much value to those, but I guess Deadly Poison still can sometimes be a big deal, but it's not nearly as much taking away as much mana investment from Briarthorn as it would from a deck that had to use like Hook Scimitar or the Self-Sharpening Sword. So could be a big deal, but I feel like the bigger deal is just finding the tools to stabilize in the matchup, finding the AoE to clear the early boards, sticking a minion, and then finding Apotheosis to really put the counter pressure on and kind of stabilize out of range of damage from hand. So we'll see. Empanizado kind of got run over against the Aggro Rogue.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at some of their deck list differences and trying to see if there's a specific edge, but I think it just seems like some of these splashes that we're talking about, trying to see if you can target more of that Warrior, ends up hitting things like Aggro Rogue. So Briarthorn seems like one of the better performers of today for his Aggro Rogue is going to be put to the test against the Priest. But for Briarthorn's side, we got word that his deck during the Swiss portion actually performed very poorly. It actually had the inverse record, so to speak. I believe it went like 1-5 or 1-4. And then today, it seems like he is undefeated with that Rogue, seemingly at this point, as Briarthorn has gotten a very nice quick win over Empanizado. It's going to, a game that could actually define the entire series if he's able to get a very nice win over the Priest, similar to what he did to Empanizado.
Yeah, kind of crazy. So in the Swiss rounds, Briarthorn was basically queuing the Rogue game 1 in most of his series and then just losing with it. The time that he didn't play it would have been like when it was banned, I suppose. But we'll see if he's already had more success with today. We'll see if he continues that success. Has Scavenger to follow up. Can attack with the Spy Mistress if he so chooses, because he has another Stealth Minion for Greyheart Sage, but I guess doesn't want it to get eaten up by a 1/1. And then the damage to just be healed back up. So going to try and find a more opportune time to use that card.
Yeah. And I like this Fearless Monsanto developed the Sethek Veil Weaver. Understands that it's a card it's a high value generator, right? The Sethek Veil Weaver is supposed to target stuff and get more spells, but at the same time, this is not a matchup where value is really the important thing. You need to stabilize onto the board, so playing for tempo and forcing your opponent to trade into it.
Job's done.
Okay, Mind Flayer is pretty interesting versus the Apotheosis or just straight up removal. There's actually several options here at Monsanto's disposal. So
honestly, the
spell, tempo, or buffs.
Yeah, Mind Flayer cards though does make it so outside of Sap, Monsanto will have a target when he wants it for Apotheosis, because Briarthorn is very unlikely to put enough damage into 2 separate 3/3s.
I must consider.
Yeah, I think I like that because sturdiness of the board means that Apotheosis will always be live, and you can kind of get more value off of that. And then, like, Penance is, like, off curve. Shadow Madness doesn't really do much. I guess it takes away a draw, which is, like, kind of significant, but...
Yeah, but they have ways to kind of refill their hand anyway, so don't think too worried about it. Now, Briarthorn, he has Voracious Reader and he has Secret Passage, so he's got ways to refill, but he doesn't have too much stuff that he's incentivized to just dump, right? Like Sinister Strikes, not super high value, at least against Priests, because they can just kind of heal it back up, and then you kind of wasted that mana utilization, but honestly, he doesn't have great ways to spend the mana as it is. Just Deadly Poison plus the Blazing Battle Mage and then go. But, oh wow, is he going to sink this damage into the Mind Flayer plus the Greyheart?
Oh, he's really respecting the Apotheosis.
Ooh, he certainly is.
That's a lot of damage to sink into a... Now, granted, Monsanto does actually have the punish card for it, but I guess Briarthorn's feeling like with Secret Passage and Voracious Reader, maybe he can just start to dump hand, and hopefully that he can outgas the Priest by just playing more cards more frequently. Wow, this Chrono Breaker is actually low-key kind of nutty.
Yeah, it is.
With the 3 damage to all minions if you're holding a dragon, or all enemy minions, Briarthorn won't be able to establish a board.
Yeah, Sap is kind of the card here, because that's a full turn that Monsanto invested into that. Wow. Just going to deal with it. All right.
The fires of vengeance burn bright.
It's investing so much damage into minions. Like, at this point, Monsanto doesn't actually have to play Apotheosis because all his minions have taunt, apparently.
You have to read this one.
Voracious Reader value. 1 card. Nice.
I mean, honestly, Voracious Reader drawing 1 card is totally fine. 2 mana, 1/3, like, you know, battle cry, draw a card. It's not really a battle cry, but...
Yeah, but Dan, it can draw 3 cards.
Totally. And if it draws 3 cards, that's when Voracious Reader is, like, the best card in the game. 2 mana, 1/3, draw 3 cards. But, you know, you got to temper expectations. Speaking of...
Dump Apotheosis, well, not, I wouldn't say dump, because that's a little bit aggressive, but you can Apotheosis, trade over Voracious Reader, and then Penance. You heal back
Yeah.
up. Your opponent still has to deal with a now 3/4 on the board that has lifesteal. Got to throw an eviscerate into it. So I mean that'd be like an effective 7 healing. Just use double Sinister Strike and you're healing back everything that the Sinister Strike did. All right, so not going to unload the penance. Just going to try and protect this lifesteal minion.
Right. That's a good read. Saw that his opponent didn't have sap with the Mind Flayer Karj, and just like,
Yeah.
or just like in general for his minions, like the Chrono Breaker. So there's plenty of opportunities for Briarthorn to gain tempo against Monsanto, and I think he's effectively tested for it. So good deduction reasoning, and Briarthorn kind of gets called out, saying like, I don't think you have a way to deal with this, and he is correct. There is no way for Briarthorn to handle this 3/5 right now. So he's gonna go ahead and Secret Passage.
Ooh, another one.
All right, we've got Backstab. I guess Eviscerate.
Yeah, and then probably just developing one of these minions. I wonder which one is. Yeah, I suppose Ash Chunk Slayer, because they're both situational. Ash Chunk Slayer's damage, Greyheart is draw, which turns into damage.
Right. I think maybe he wants to increase the amount of good draws to keep his pressure going. So I think that makes sense because he also knows that he has a stealth minion going on. But this is looking pretty
Mwah.
bad
Jandis.
so far for Briarthorn.
Let's make something real.
Biggest threat in the deck. Oh, okay, not bad.
Reasonably statted minions. Well, the Gladebound Adept is. The Cobalt Spellkin's kind of subpar.
Yeah. I can't get a read from Briarthorn right now. I don't know.
I think the minion you want to die would be the... Okay, you picked a Gladebound Adept, and I actually agree with that because I think the Gladebound Adept is like a minion that Monsanto doesn't want to trade into anyways.
Yeah. Ooh.
Why not both? Apparently.
About that.
Shadow Death. Shadow Madness.
Oh, that's rough.
Oh, and the Elucia as well. For like when Briarthorn reloads next turn.
All right, if Briarthorn wins this game, this rogue deck is the best deck in the entire game. His board's been getting picked apart. He's had to respect so many things.
Right. I'll let you know right here, right now, TJ. I don't think Briarthorn's winning this game. He's
That's what I'm saying. Me neither.
Very, very far behind.
Yeah.
You know, I know that it's not impossible. Like I don't want to make it sound like it's 100% guaranteed, but there is a close enough number where it feels effectively like 100%. When it's like 99.5. Even 1% might be generous at this point for Briarthorn. Because it only not only requires him to draw the absolute perfect cards, it requires Monsanto to like fail to draw any meaningful cards. It also required Monsanto to, I think, mess up.
Job's done.
I don't know, Dan.
Everything.
I don't know. Voracious Reader draws 3 cards. Monsanto doesn't deal with this board. Oh, he does next turn. But it might be too late.
Yeah, and there's entirely reasonable. There's a possibility that Rogue just gets the secret passive next turn and just able to find that damage. It's just unlikely from this position. And Monsanto has the ability to try and mind render a Lucia and just really twist a knife. I guess the challenge would be that what does Briarthorn play in response? I guess he just plays Dragon Queen, and then Monsanto has Plague of Death. So he's got it checked at every corner now.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, Monsanto can basically just play the minions. I don't think Sap is particularly scary as a card because it's not like it generates damage, but the other two do generate damage.
Must consider.
Oh, funny enough, what if he saps a card back to the hand? Like if he saps the Voracious Reader, I was actually curious about that. Oh wait.
Oh,
He is interested. We got some movement.
oh, wow. Okay, that changes everything. There's I think that's a tiny smirk on Briarthorn's face. It's like, the wheels are turning there.
Well, the thing is, he sees what Monsanto can do, right? He sees that he can play Dragon Queen and Murzon. So, funnily enough, if Briarthorn plays Galakron, if Monsanto just plays Murzon right back, he's going to also turn to Galakron. So it's not like he's taking it away from him permanently.
Yeah, but then it becomes a value battle.
Choose soon.
I guess.
Which he
Monsanto
loses
comes
over
out on top.
time.
Yeah. Unless he just gets the nuts.
Right. He would
Like, is
have to so deeply outvalue Monsanto. I don't know.
In the shadows.
It's like, oh no! Oh.
It's got a Murzon right back.
Yeah, he has to.
Because he needs to have that Galakron, otherwise he will get out. That like Briarthorn's game plan completely shifts.
Yeah.
Monsanto's eyes widening super deep. Okay, so we killed the Voracious Reader, right? No matter what we're doing here.
Yes. I mean, it's the only thing he can kill.
In the shadows.
This game just got weird.
Okay.
Psychopomp?
You have to read this one.
Gracious Reader!
What?
I'm honestly surprised he didn't do that with the Akama. Oh, he's just going face. All right. Oh, he knows the Plague of Death is there.
Yeah. He knows Plague of Death is there,
Yeah.
but the 3 card draw is so nice. And also, alternatively, Monsanto's not developing.
Yeah.
So is there a way he can play around Plague of Death, or like not play Plague of Death? Maybe instead he plays Dragon Queen this turn.
Life and hope of Wolf Fighting.
I like it.
What are the last
Evasive
cards?
Draconid. That's so hard to deal with.
Oh
as
my
Briarthorn.
gosh, that is.
Evil magic.
I mean, I think that they're maybe a very small chance, but a chance if he didn't pick up a taunt there that he could die.
If he traded it down, there would be 3 power on the board, 7 through the Cold Blood.
The Greyheart Sage.
Maybe. Okay, Greyheart Sage, draw 2 Eviscerate. Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. It would depend. Yeah, Greyheart Sage plus Cold Blood plus. I think he used an Eviscerate earlier, didn't he? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, jeez.
A cruel fate awaits you
Want
in the
hero
ashes.
power first?
Deadly Poison.
Deadly
is
Poison
dead.
is a completely dead draw here.
So what's funny is that the turn that he played his Spy Mistress, he could have daggered up when he played Galakron. He wanted the extra minion on board. I mean, which netted him more damage than a Deadly Poison would have netted him over the course of the game, I feel. All right. Kill the Evasive Draconid, I guess. 19 damage on board. Yeah, this one's over, I think.
It looks pretty close to over. Nethrodamus also loads a pretty reasonable amount of power on board. Both players getting lackeys. Or evil conscriptors to get lackeys. Monsanto's end, I think he's basically just checking to calculate how much damage, pulling up the deck list from Briarthorn, and just like evaluating what he can and can't get away with.
Yeah.
From hand.
It's got to be essentially a solve state at this point, with the caveat that he can get a random priest minion.
Find your power. Time is running out.
Alright, well, summons a pretty solid amount of stats for 1 mana. 12/12, that's kind of like playing Van Cleef.
Minions, take to the streets.
And just pressuring.
Yep, Resco's
Briarthorn
face.
with no weapon. Can't get that damage, I don't think. I just don't think there's enough damage in his deck.
No, I don't think so either.
Okay. What minion could it be? Okay. That doesn't apply here.
No.
What lackey could it be? Spell lackey? Oh, actually, I wonder if trading... No, actually, that might have been better. Trading could have given him the ethereal lackey, which could have given him... Plague
Vanish?
Effect, right? Oh, Vanish is it got rotated to wild.
Oh,
Either way,
I'm well aware. I'm the... Just kidding.
Monsanto takes the game 1 victory and shuts down Briarthorn's big MVP deck for today with the priest. Now Briarthorn has to respond to that priest with either the druid or the warrior.
Yeah. Got interesting a little bit, but it felt like Monsanto just had checks at every which way. A lot different from like the Empanizato game, where I felt like Empanizato didn't really even have options. He did it without board wide removal. He just played minions, and the Mind Flayer Garsh, he sunk 6 damage into it, sunk a lot of damage into minions, which just bought him time. And I guess the respect needs to be there because of Apotheosis, but I mean, it's a Highlander deck, so you could argue that maybe you just have to ignore things, hope it's not there, and hit face. But definitely well played from Monsanto.
So Monsanto now awaits the druid versus the warrior. Which one is better here? And it looks like the warrior deck is the bomb warrior here from Briarthorn that's got some anti-aggro cards like Sword and Board, Cleave. Maybe Briarthorn was anticipating a lot of aggro as well, so that he would be able to fight against it. So if he has anti-aggro tech in his warrior, seems like his druid is better fit to fight against the priest.
Yeah.
But some bad news, that priest became popular in the metagame because it beat druid. So I'm not very confident just in the initial matchup. But, I mean, we've seen Briarthorn get some ridiculous turns still with Kael'thas Sunstrider, almost as if the nerf didn't really even go through.
Yeah, I still don't think it's, a one matchup for Monsanto just yet, but I do think that priest definitely has layers of tools to be able to deal with it. Maybe not as much as Bomb Warrior. But it is inconsistent, and Briarthorn, his druid actually seems pretty consistent because he has the double guardian animals, he has Kael'thas, which means his big swing turns are going to come earlier, and he's going to have like those kind of bigger bursts, but maybe not as many waves, and we'll see if that's going to be enough.
Okay, well, here we go. Game number 2. Sano has one of the most important cards, actually, in Shadow Word Ruin. That card seems to be very valuable in the late stage of the game. It's just it takes a while for it to be relevant, so it looks like Monsanto instead values having earlier plays and just contingency plans, which I can't blame him for.
Yep. Ooh, find some ramp.
All right. The ramp's nice. He won't be able to play these cards next turn, but in his book, Well, I mean, he doesn't have anything playable next turn, but I guess that's okay. I'm kind of wondering, like, you know, is there a rush to play that overgrowth as fast as he can with no guarantee of wild growth in the following turn?
Probably not. Maybe you wait one more turn, but I guess the curve is kind of weird because if you wait one more turn, then you're on 3 mana, and you don't want to Lightning Bloom then either because then you'd be wasting mana. I guess he could have like Lightning Bloomed out a 5-drop, but maybe getting out of the way is better. That one's tough. Lightning Bloom can give you those big power turns with Kael'thas later.
Right.
That's something to think about.
Feels like this deck does value that Lightning Bloom higher than the other Druid decks right now. Either way, Briarthorn's in a pretty... He has a pretty decent hand. And it's kind of like up to Monsanto to figure out if he has like playmaking hands to really stop the development from the Druid.
Apotheosis and Renew here to heal this thing back up. Just kind of play for tempo.
Right.
This
More
deck,
about the buff.
yeah.
Ooh.
Another Shadow Word Ruin seems okay, given that Briarthorn's playing a double survival list.
Right.
Maybe
and
that's
the first
a little...
one Briarthorn can play around, but the second one is much harder to play around.
Yeah. Maybe that's a little too much. Maybe that's too one-dimensional of a hand where you're just all reactive removal. Maybe Apotheosis then is better. But you're not guaranteed to have a minion, especially since Briarthorn put high priority on getting that overgrowth out early. You're probably thinking Guardian Animals is coming out next turn, and maybe then from that point on you don't stick a minion, so you just want to be able to kill every wave that they play, in which case Shadowwood Ruin's the play, and yeah, goes to Shadowwood Ruin. He's got answers.
Yep. I like it. I like the ability to respond to kind of what Druid's doing, because Priest will give enough time for the Druid to play their cards. But what really devastates the Druid is the Priest reaction to the Druid deck, because they can't really kill without a board. And Priest will never let them stick a board. So I think the Shadowward Ruin leans into the strengths of the Priest deck here.
Yeah. Does he want to keep a 4/6 fully intact? Does he want to trade in a 2/2? Or does he want to use a Bog Beam? He's just going to dump. Okay, so Nubisat Defender. We talked about this interaction in one of the previous games where a lot of times you just want a big swing turn where you just want to play a Nubisat Defender. But he's not playing the mirror matchup, so he's not worried about Guardian Animals coming out on the other side. He kind of just wants power, just like raw stats in play. And that's why he keeps all of his minions in the live, because he wants to try and force out removal on maybe a smaller board here. And then he'll have a better time sticking bigger boards later on. So Anubisat played in this situation is just to try and gain tempo.
Is nigh.
Well, Kronks pulls the Galakron out of the deck, and so now Briarthorn knows what's possible. But, I mean, the second Guardian Animal is going to pull even more beasts.
Ooh.
More card draw from the Teacher, or the Twilight Runner, rather. Actually, this Nature Study can even set up for the Survival of the Fittest next turn.
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I actually would set up a lethal.
Not only would it set up lethal, it's really hard for Monsanto to interact with the board because of the 4 attack minions.
Yeah.
There's no Shadowward Ruin possibilities.
Yeah, and he's a turn away from Galakron, a turn away from Soul Mirror. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's a massive missed opportunity there.
Yeah. I think it's actually a pretty significant missed opportunity here, because Monsanto's only way to deal with that is Wave of Apathy. I guess he would have been playing it anyways, but still, you would be able to play the Wave of Apathy right back, or sorry, the Survival of the Fittest right back and hit him anyways for 15 damage.
Yeah. I'm also not seeing significant downsides to it other than not having it to activate Kael'thas.
I guess he doesn't even have a guarantee of it though. He plays nature studies, and unless he picks up a 0-mana card or a way to generate stuff, okay, never mind. He knew the entire time.
He knew. He knew.
Energy, power.
All right, so Gale Thos.
Addicted to it.
Yeah, you want to Lightning Bloom before you nature studies so you can capitalize on the cheaper discount.
Blessing of the Ancients is the most mana efficient.
Yes, but I feel like Worthy Expedition might be important for him to potentially pick up cards like Nourish to refill his hand. 'Cause he does seem to be lacking card draw right now.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, this is a big board that's about to come out here.
Let's throw in a broomstick.
Sure. I mean, it's interesting to me because the broomstick doesn't really add much. You're pretty much going to threaten lethal no matter what you do, but
Yeah.
yeah, the Shadowward Rune is very strong.
Oh, but the Blessing of the Ancients is something big comes out the other end of this. Sixer.
Sixer, which is a candidate to be stolen or potentially used against him, but I guess Monsanto doesn't actually have anything good for that. Meanwhile, Briarthorn has 2 plus the Blazing Age is 4, Hero Power's 5. Oh, Monsanto's actually really close to clearing it with Shadow Madness and an Aeon Reaver. Oh geez, and his Galakrond will only kill 1 minion. Oh wait,
I mean,
doesn't Soul Mirror kill?
It does, yeah.
It doesn't kill the 9/11. It kills the Zixer.
Yeah.
All
Alright, 50-50.
I mean, he's not. In his mind, he's not dead, but we know that he's dead if he doesn't hit the Thresher. Is there any other way that we're not thinking about?
I just don't.
Quickly.
Oh, it is. It'd be Shadow Madness and Shadowward Ruin.
Oh, yeah. Actually, but then, like, the next wave, that's a guaranteed way, though. But I guess at this point, you're just trying to take anything that you can get. He does have
Right.
Soul Mirror for next wave.
He does. It's not ideal. He's really hoping for no Ysera Unleashed or anything like that. I mean, Briarthorn's got 2 cards to draw, but I don't think he's got many playable cards at the moment.
What about that one?
Oh, that one's a good one. Oof. Does he find another Noobsop Defender? If he does, that actually plays into the Galakrond. Does not. So Monsanto gets some breathing room. And he can actually set up preemptively here. How best to do it? Perhaps, if he knows his opponent has a Bog Beam left, he has to understand that one of these minions might end up biting the dust to that. He is
Everything's just
really
so
afraid of the
reactive.
Ysera coming.
Yeah. Just Cobalt Sticky Finger heal.
I wonder.
Cobalt
Sethic-
Sticky Finger, probably Wild Pyromancer. I don't think Wild Pyromancer is relevant anymore in terms of his the damage it does.
Yeah. There is the Wild Pyromancer Apotheosis.
It's cute.
crazy level clears, but
Way better versus aggro than it is against, 8/16 minions. Okay, so we've been looking at Ysera Unleashed. We're thinking about how great it is. Briarthorn gonna go ahead and Bog Beam first. Lightning Bloom. Oh wow, Lightning Bloom can actually set up the Dragon Chain right now, because he could Ysera innervate Lightning Bloom, and then he can. Even though it's kind of, then he can play Overgrowth. And he's seen Monsanto use the Shadowward Ruins, plural.
yeah. I mean, he doesn't have many cards left in his deck. It's mostly portals, so he's likely to get a good chunk here. Wait, what is he targeting? He got a basic one. Okay.
Yeah. Got something to rush in, and he
Oh,
has
Malagos.
an Iron Bark. I mean, this is a really intimidating board.
Yeah.
Ooh, Zigzar Prime comes into the hand. Okay. Is there something that we can do with that? Oh, Malagos with Penance. TJ, that's a lot of heal. I mean, that sounds good.
So it's
And a way to utilize this in a way that we haven't actually seen a lot.
So it's 8 heal. He leaves a 5/10 on board, but he does have a huge board right back. He's hoping that Briarthorn doesn't get too many things here because that's Soul Mirror used. So now, like, the Dream Portals. Oh, but he can't play Survival of the Fittest because he's overloaded. He got Caligos again!
Yes, he can!
What?
How does he keep doing this? I don't understand. That is insane.
But he only got. That's the only portal that he got. So
Right.
I think you.
Are you? I guess he has to play that first, because if he plays Overflow, he can't play the Survival anymore.
I think you all in here and go for the Overflow. Yeah.
Woo! All right, what's the portals remaining here? Oh no, Aeon Reaver is not it. Deathwing is kind of it.
Deathwing is it.
Looks like I'm here just in time.
Amber Watcher. Okay. Now he's going to take 1, 3, 6, 10. Fatigue.
Wow.
He's going to draw 4 extra cards.
Oh! Zephyrus off the top of the deck. There was one card that could absolutely bail Monsanto out with a big grin.
Oh,
Gonna
man.
slam and destroy everything. I don't think there's an incentive to use Shadowward Ruin versus not. I think you just kill everything straight up.
You just kill everything. He's in Fatigue. You know exactly his last 2 cards, the Speaking Ghidra.
Oh.
And
Briarthorn, he
that's
looks
it.
crushed.
Does he?
Oh yeah, he is devastated. Monsanto is up 2-0 and looks like he is ready to sweep Briarthorn. Just a lot of broomsticks coming out today, TJ. Maybe the animated broomstick was an omen, if you will.
Yeah. That was, I mean, just an insane turn of events. Like the Survival of the Fittest. I mean, it allowed him to kill the Malagos and then Overflow to pull the rest of the portals out of the deck. Because otherwise, he still has a big top minion on the board that he can't get through since he was overloaded. So got Calicos again. But Zephyrus off the top to combat it. I guess that's why you play Highlander. Just give yourself one additional out. And now, because the Zoo Warlock was banned away, Briarthorn still has the Bomb Warrior to fall back on. And he's playing a little different version, like you talked about earlier, than what we're used to seeing in America. This is very common, or this has shown to be very common in Europe among the Bomb Warrior players, though it's being banned away, is the Galakron variant. So you're not running the Ankar plus Risky Skipper package, and instead you're running 1, additional removal, and 2, you just kind of fit in like athletic studies. You fit in the Kronks plus Galakron. So what that allows you to do is Galakron's just a consistent source of damage if for some reason you run out of bombs, right? It just gives you that last leg.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be important going into this potential final game. Monsanto really thinking about it deeply, what he wants, if anything. That hand looks pretty solid if he can stop Briarthorn's early aggression tools, but without that Cobalt Sticky Finger and that Acidic Swamp Ooze, I'm sure he'd much prefer that, but there's no weapon from Briarthorn yet until he uses Corsair Cash. Dr. Krasinov comes to the hand. Very nice start here for Briarthorn. Just needs a good turn 3, and then he'd be really cooking. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
Zephyrus
needs
can
to
respond to a weapon.
Yeah, he's got so many ways to respond to weapons.
Wait. Maybe it's good to play Zephyrus here, because when Zephyrus dies, you can raise dead and play Zephyrus again.
I like
and you
that.
get to benefit off of Zephyrus having giving you mana, and then you can get Zephyrus back to remove the weapon.
What if he never kills Zephyrus? What if he just equips Orange Caliber and hits you in the face?
Then you apotheosis, right? Then he's got it. Then he's got to deal with Zephyrus at
Then
that
he's
point.
got to deal with it. No, you're right.
Yeah.
I think he had him checked.
I wonder.
I think that Zephyrus was a turn 2 checkmate play.
Yeah, that's kind of one of those things where you have to deal with that minion in a way, but you also... Yeah, well, either way, Monsanto has no incentive to actually stand up to the board, and he knows the weapon's in hand, right? I think the big deterrent is that Monsanto knows that he can go even further with his value, right? If he plays Wrench Caliber, he destroys the weapon. Next time that weapon gets played, he can immediately raise dead and Zephyrus again. He's going for a specific win condition line here. And Briarthorn immediately catches on to it. But now he's kind of played his hand a little bit in a way that's revealed information. Monsanto knows that this is not the Corsair Cash weapon.
Your wish is my...
Yeah, but Briarthorn also knows that it's very likely that Monsanto has weapon removal.
That's right.
So he wants the higher durability
right.
Wrench Caliber.
Here's the thing too, TJ. By both these minions dying, he can get both of them back with Raised Dead.
Yeah, he's never getting a weapon.
Yeah. Sword and board.
He sword and boards the Zephyrus, he just raised deads, oozes it again, and has another Zephyrus. Keep in mind, he still has a Kobold Sticky Fingers in his deck. Briarthorn is running double Horde Pillager.
Oh, jeez. Okay. TJ, real quick.
Yes.
Would you Penance Zephyrus so you can get him back as a battle cry in your hand?
Absolutely.
And then play Raise Dead and then...
I actually think I would Breath
for it.
of the Infinite and Raise Dead. Just so... yeah, actually, I don't know. Because Briarthorn's not really going to play a lot of minions in the deck. He doesn't play, like, Risky Skippers, doesn't play Armor Smiths.
Another Zephyrus. Interesting that he prioritized the Zephyrus here and not just playing Ooze and Heal. I'm actually a little bit surprised by that. I guess he wants to have minions on the board now, because then he could play double 3 next turn.
Yeah.
But jeez Louise, Briarthorn looks like he does not have a meaningful game plan with 4 weapon charges destroyed.
His Galakron is going to have to do a lot of work. He's going to have to hit Monsanto for 3 a lot of times. Now Monsanto can even Mind Flayer this and have a gain 10 or gain 10 armor card in his deck.
Well, Kargith Prime, not super important here in the grand scheme of things. I don't think the priest truly cares about how much armor the warrior gains. But there is fun stuff that you can do. Monsanto can actually Mind Flayer and get Kargoth himself. The amount of the combat tricks and general buffoonery that Breeze can do to you now, it's just... It feels so helpless at times when you're in this position as Briarthorn. Like, what can you really do here? Not to mention that a bomb was drawn, which means that Dr. Boom actually doesn't really do anything, or doesn't do nearly as much impact as he really should be. I think he gets 2 boom bots right now. He shuffled 2 bombs.
It's old school Dr. Boom. All right,
right.
there's Horde Pillager.
It's like fair Dr. Boom. Yeah, Horde Pillager. But he knows another Acidic Swamp was in the hand.
Yeah, but then... And now Cobalt Sticky
Cobalt
Finger.
Sticky
All right.
Finger.
He's got check for every wrench caliber.
And now he's actually mounting a very meaningful counteroffensive. Finds Whispers of Evil. And this is looking pretty grim still. However, Briarthorn, I think he was anticipating dropping this Deathwing on this turn to try and clear off the board. And then strike back that way. Instead, does he
Still
want
leaves
to
the
Horde
Kargath.
Pillager and just get it over with? Just get your last bomb in, let it shuffle in, and then afterwards play Blastmaster Boom. I don't know. I don't know if that's what you're doing right now, because if you play Horde Pillager, what are you doing afterwards? You're definitely not going to upgrade.
Yeah, the upgrade is probably going to have to be saved to go along with the other upgrade and Dr. Krasinov to just build his own weapon later on in the game.
Yeah, I like the chorus here. You kind of resign yourself to the fact that this is going to be happening, where your Wrench Caliber gets destroyed.
Yep.
Interesting that Monsanto didn't Cobalt Sticky Finger. I figured swinging with the weapon right back and then healing up
Well,
while developing better tempo.
the Acidic Swamp Ooze is the card that Monsanto or Briarthorn knows that's in Monsanto's hand. Whereas Cobalt
That's
Sticky Finger is a secret. So maybe Briarthorn has the other Horde Pillager and then just immediately buffs up the weapon and he gets to steal a buffed weapon.
I mean, Briarthorn has yet to deal damage, like net damage against Monsanto.
Yeah.
All right.
Maybe this Deathwing Mad aspect sticks.
I think it might be time for Briarthorn to try it, yeah, and launch an offensive. Blastmaster Boom, this is probably the best it's going to get.
Yep.
Oh, no sword in board. Interesting. Would you like to Soul Mirror this? Soul Mirror is interesting because it clears off your opponent's board, but it also might clear your board because the Kargoth and the Acidic Swamp Ooze might die. Maybe instead you simply use removal tools like Shadow Word, Death, and Breath of the Infinite.
Yeah. I think he's okay taking damage. There's only 2 bombs in the deck, and he knows that only one more total will be shuffled in over the course of this game. Wow, okay, gets the Prime
Wow.
Plague of Death. Okay.
Plague of Death.
He doesn't want to take
he's
any damage.
Yeah.
Oh, there
which
it is.
Reasonable.
There it is, Dan. Clocking for 3 each and every turn.
Yeah, he's got him on a 30-turn clock, that's for sure.
Yep.
Kargath Prime is a
Oh,
14-14.
yeah. Okay. I can see it. I can see it, Dan. Win condition piecing together. Still got Kronks in the deck. That's burst.
Yeah, but I think Monsanto might still want to be on the removal plan and out heal. Like, what if he just heals and passes? Like, what does Briarthorn do? He develops.
Hits it for 3.
And it hits it for 3, and then Monsanto heals.
I mean, that's net 1 damage for Briarthorn in my book.
Right, and that's progress. He's got him on 30 turns, but he's definitely going to die to fatigue before that happens.
Well, but he has ways to burst.
Okay, what's his burst opportunities? Let me look.
Kronks. Once his wrench caliber gets stolen, then he has upgrade, Dr. Krasinov. That's a 3/5 weapon, Dan. Then you're clocking him for 6.
Okay, now we're talking. Wait, but they need Cobalt Sticky Fingers.
Well, he cobalt
Sticky Fingers.
He cobalt sticky fingered the wrench caliber in this theoretical situation. This is after the last wrench caliber is stolen. Since
He's played both French Calibers.
He has a second Horde Pillager in his deck.
Oh, you are correct.
So after the wrench caliber gets stolen from the cobalt sticky finger, then you build your own weapon with upgrades plus Dr. Krasinov. Then you're clocking it for 6 every turn.
Isn't it better, maybe, for Briarthorn to clock him for like a 3/5 weapon, force him to Sticky Finger that, and then Wrench Caliber?
That might be better, actually.
The stickiest of the fingers.
Right now, it would only be a 2/4 weapon, but I mean, I'll take it. That might make Monsanto sweat a little bit.
Right.
Life and hope.
Wow, just gonna play an 8/8 and rush it.
Rush it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is where you
sense.
build the weapon. You upgrade, you Dr. Krasinov.
Cleave. Okay. I like it. I like the
Or you
Dr.
could
Krasinov.
Or you can just cleave sword and board. Because Monsanto missed a heal.
That's right.
So
like
Briarthorn's like, okay, this happens.
He's got to do that. I like the sword and board. I think I like the upgrade Dr. Krasinov cleave play that you mentioned.
Yeah, but he already attacked base, so.
I know.
All right, now Monsanto's
Sad.
sweating. And
Oh, Monsanto heal. Monsanto
Nice.
pass. Monsanto win.
Nope, net 1 damage, Briarthorn.
He's drawing cards. He has
order
nothing
for
to
this-
draw.
In order for this game plan to come together, he does need the
just
second
ex-
Horde Pillager. Because he needs the Cobalt
He just
Sticky
gave
Finger out of the way.
himself 2 fewer turns, TJ, to get this done.
The future is clear.
He said this was too easy. I'm going to make this even harder on myself.
Oh, the 14/14 Kargath Prime!
Yeah. he's got the Kargath Prime check now. Hard check.
All right, second upgrade
Okay.
drawn.
Okay. There's still time. Okay. There's no time. Is his plan to just like go for a 6 damage weapon swing and just let? Because the thing is, if he lets that get sticky fingered, it's going to just be a clock against him then, because he's going to be in
Oh,
fatigue.
no. Oh no. That completely ruined all of his progress over the last 3 turns. 1 renew.
TJ, I don't understand.
Loot? What more can I ask for?
Okay. He's going for, I know what he's going for. He's going for the bomb KO. It's taking me a little while to get it, but he is hoping that he gets enough damage pushed through, and then eventually he's going to be in a situation where Monsanto has to double bomb out. Or he has a double bomb out against Monsanto.
Yeah, because he still has 2 bombs in the deck.
Yeah, and a third eventually.
Yeah, eventually, yeah.
Which is not the worst plan out there, to be quite honest. I mean, it's a bad situation for the warrior here.
Yeah. I just want to shield slam this. I don't want to put a minion in the way for him to gain 10 armor from.
Do try to keep yourselves alive.
Yeah.
Karkith. All of that damage now just went.
All right, it's okay. We can start over. Let's start from scratch.
He has so little time.
Let's start from scratch. It's okay. 3 more damage.
All right.
Let me change your mind.
Yeah, there's no incentive here for Monsanto to actually try to play anything important, because it's really up to Briarthorn to prove that he can kill him. And Kronks can. I think if you're Briarthorn, you Kronks and you deal 5 to your opponent, and then you keep pushing damage. Shield slam this 4/5 and move on. Okay, Karkith Prime as well. I mean, he knows that there's got to be removal tools now.
He gets so mean, and he also has another Karkith Prime. All right. No,
All the armor right back.
okay, we start over
He's
again.
losing progress. TJ, he is losing
No.
progress.
It's still okay.
Like 10
We still have-
turns of this.
We still have upgrade Dr. Krasinov.
For 15 damage, which chops down the armor. And then there's another Karkith Prime.
So
TJ, the
Monsanto's-
longer this game goes, the further he's getting behind.
Monsanto's heals are wasted.
Deal 5.
Yeah. So
There's no
Monsanto's
other
heals
way
are
you
wasted
win.
right now because he has armor. So
His heals are wasted?
yeah, because so after this heal, he's going to heal face. Then he can't heal face anymore. So Briarthorn gets 2 full turns of full 3 damage. So this is Horde Pillager. No, it's not.
Oh my god.
He's gonna need shield blocked it.
Okay. Horde Pillager, last card.
Treasure? Loot? What more can I ask
3
for?
bombs in the deck. Monsanto's been waiting.
The perfect 6 damage.
Too full.
One thing to note is he also got the Sandhoof Water Bearer.
Right. That's how that got even more heal with the
He also
Santa
has
Water Bear
Scar.
now.
All right, but Cobalt Sticky Finger is the perfect minion to rush Dr. Krasnov. Here it is. Upgrade, Dr. Krasnov, and go. Start clocking him. Here we go. And this is it.
I guess what I don't understand is if you did this earlier, you would have gotten the damage in. Or your opponent would have played the Sticky Finger, and either way, you would have made it a little bit more uncomfortable for the player. Either way, this is the offensive that we've been waiting for.
Bomb.
Okay, bomb.
Lose.
No.
That's a new thing. I forgot. I completely forgot there was just an actual
my
natural
gosh.
acidic swamp ooze in the deck.
Poor Briar.
Because, yes, Monsanto had played 3 acidic swamp ooze up until that point, but none of those were the natural one in the deck. The first one was Zephyrus, the second one was Zephyrus, the third one was the one that was from Zephyrus but raised from the dead, using Raised Dead. That was a game of Hearthstone.
3-0. Monsanto goes through, and we got all the Canadians through to day number 2. It's 3 Canadians and Bloodyface walking to a top 4. The punchline is tomorrow we'll find out what happens. We'll
You have
see
a day to write the
how
rest of that
ends
joke.
up. Yeah, tomorrow we'll write the rest of that joke because we'll find out what happens. But Monsanto and Lingo Jacker are the 2 players that advanced from today. Briarthorn, not a bad showing to be quite honest, for a first-time appearance on GM. We've seen some people kind of get their first appearance on camera and then It didn't go so well. At least he was able to put on a pretty interesting performance with that rogue deck. The warrior deck has ideas. I think the Briarthorn with the Galakron, there might be more to it than we're giving it credit for. But, it did feel like it had no chance against the priest after a certain point of the game.
Yeah.
We'll see. I appreciate that Briarthorn is thinking outside the box here. He definitely did it with an unusual lineup this week.
Yeah. 5 forms of weapon destruction Monsanto had access to that game. So it's not often that you go up against that, but Monsanto just had all the tools, even beyond that. If he had a couple more bombs, Jefferson wasn't active, things like that. So you saw the bracket there tomorrow. Should be a fun one. This is pretty much like 4 of the most consistent players across Grandmasters, even though we haven't seen or heard much from Monsanto in a little bit. You think back to last year, 2019 Grandmasters, Monsanto was consistently at the top in each of his divisions or groups. I don't even remember if we called them groups or divisions last year. So kind of crazy that it just seems like we always have a similar top 4 when looking at the Swiss for this year of Grandmasters. And well done to those 4 players.
Yep, really consistent players, really fun times. Today had a lot of great moments, and I think it's refreshing to see some of that aggression come out because I think it really kept some decks honest. But tomorrow should be quite the journey as we have some more unusual decks to talk about, with Eddie's Turtle Mage being one of the highlights. That's going to be happening at a little bit of a different schedule because every region has only 3 matches, so APAC's going to be starting a little bit later. And then just like that after week 2, and then one more week, TJ. That's already kind of the halfway point of the season, which is kind of wild to think about. It feels like GM is just getting started, but there's not much time left. There's got to be some urgency for these players. So with that, the broadcast is over for today, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. If you missed any part of this broadcast, make sure to check out all of our stuff here at the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hearthstone Esports. A big shout out to T-Mobile for our sponsor, as well as all of you viewers who've been tuning in. Make sure to check out playhearthstone.com/esports if you want to play any of these decks, or check out the standings and find out all the rules for Grandmasters. Other than that, we're done. So from Frodan, TJ, and everybody part of the Grandmasters program, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time for more Hearthstone action.
Hearthstone Grandmasters is brought to you by T-Mobile. Switch today and rank up to America's largest 5G network. T-Mobile.